Hey, folks, welcome back. This week, we are doing a recap on the year that we've had. This is our anniversary. This is a year since we started this week in MeteorJS. I can't believe that it has come and gone so quickly. So, we're going to do what we normally do. We're going to hit you up with some news. Give me a second here, take a look at what we're doing. We also have a little bit of a celebrity in our midst. We have with us here, as we always do, Jan, storyteller, who's been the subject of not one, but two podcast interviews. So we're going to get into that also. And we're going to spend a little time among ourselves and with you discussing elements of the past year, the programs we've done in the past, the episodes we've done, what we liked, what we didn't like. Probably going to spend a little time exploring that, not just here in the program among ourselves, but in the audience also. So we're going to throw that back to you. Tell us what your favorite episodes were, who your favorite guests were, what the favorite moments were on the program, and then we're going to talk about where we're going with this in the next year. So stay tuned. And with that, I want to point out that we are at episode 52. Now, if you're counting, it should be 53, but we took a week off. And I don't know if you remember that. We did. We took a week off. So this is episode 52 of This Week in MeteorJS, a weekly newscast of the MeteorJS Dispatches podcast. My name is Alim Gafar. I am live streaming to you from New York City.
Everybody, I'm Jan Dvorak, coming to you live from Prague.
Hey, and I'm Küster from Germany. Hello, hello.
And with that, we'll go straight into the news.
All right. Speaking of, weeks and reviews and all of that stuff, it's the time of the year. It's gonna signal that we are coming slowly towards the end of the year, though still have a long way to go. It's the state of CSS from Sasha Grief. So, as I said, it's time of the year. We already have the state of CSS survey. It is now open. So, as always, I recommend really going and taking these surveys because there is also a lot to learn, and the state of CSS survey has how should I say it? Also a nice option of kind of adding, the things that are asked there, so that you can later on come back to it and read more on it. So yes, be sure to take it. I do believe the next, and we'll have state of React, state of GraphQL, and state of CSS. All that is coming up in the coming month. So this month and the next 3 months, we'll have new state of something coming up. So that will be fun. And then probably around New Year and after New Year, we'll have the results. So if you remember, last time we talked about the results, it was a lot of interesting things, and there are also other surveys where we also learned, and that was the Stack Overflow survey, where you learned that 88% of programmers are not happy with their jobs. So that's for the states of. More to come. Alim, what do you have for us?
Well, I'm going to bring you guys over to this issue of non-competes. Now, this is really focused in the United States more than any place else, because this is where a decision recently has had an impact. Many of you, if you are in tech and you're in the United States, you often find yourself as part of your employment agreement that you have to sign a non-compete agreement. And this is an attempt to protect the IP of the firms that you work for. However, non-competes in the past have really been meant for really highly compensated employees who have access to specific information that allows a company to be competitive from taking that to a competing firm and then using it there. And the intention is well placed. The problem is that in the United States, it's been employed in a way where folks that really don't have a lot of, how do you say this? So in the past, it's been used with executives at companies where if you're a very highly compensated executive, the intention is that you could spend a year or two sitting on the beach, so to speak, so that the information that you have is really not as valid, or not as state of the art anymore if you're going to get hired by somebody in 2 or 3 years. However, with most employees, with most working folks, you don't really have that grace period in terms of having finances to carry you through for a couple of years. So the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, found that these non-competes are really invalid, and they basically banned them. And for a while, that was celebrated. That was sometime earlier this year. I want to say in April of this year, there was an article from Wired by Amanda Hoover, Dave Paresh, that said non-competes are dead and tech workers are free to roam. So basically getting the freedom to be able to move from company to company without the limitations that these non-competes bring to you. However, as of yesterday or the day before, this week, a federal court in Texas has held that these non-compete agreement bans are illegal and have blocked them. So this is headed to a showdown at the Supreme Court, and we're going to see just how that pans out. And if you're interested in reading the article on that, it is in The Verge by Jess Weatherbed, and the title is "The FTC Non-Compete Agreement Ban is Blocked." So check it out. And if you are a tech worker that has signed a non-compete agreement in the past and are still at the company where that non-compete agreement is in place, it's not as if it's been waived. As a matter of fact, at this point, it still has the force of a contract when you first signed it. So, be wary. Okay? And Küster, what should people be doing?
That's the big question. What should people be doing? So if you like what we bring, and also if you like what you see, and if you like what you've seen in the last episodes and the episodes before, please leave a like to us. So let us know what episode you like the most, because we are always reviewing what we're doing as we do today. And with your like, you can show us your support, but you can also show us what's the favorite of the audience.
All right, so let us jump to the Meteor news. First off, quick news from the Galaxy world of hosting. There is now available live chat support. So if you have any problems, you can start chatting. From my experience, it starts with a AI trying to give you some basic help. And then if you need to, you can then move to a live person, granted that the live person is actually online. If not, then it will go and send them the message, and then you can continue through email or once they get back. So that's what was a requested feature. It is now done, so another small improvement for Galaxy. So Meteor 3.0.2 has been released and is now recommended. So once you now try to actually do a regular update, it's going to try to push you to that version. So now is probably the time to start upgrading to Meteor 3 if you haven't done so already. Speaking of new versions, work has started on version 3.0.3. So that one, I will be guessing the coming weeks will be released as well. Then we have, kind of already hinted at, there's a new segment on the YouTube channel, which would be, or these segments will be about interviewing active committee members and other people to have a general, you could say, discussions about stuff like that. So, and I was, say, chosen or lucky enough to be the first one to have their video posted. So you can check it out on the official Meteor YouTube channel. And then we have a new collections hooks package, which I would like to highlight because there is quite a, we're working on the collection hooks, but as I've kind of dig through it, it's not something that I would like to maintain going into the future. And one option to switch to, or if you need collection hooks, is here from Paul Mogollon from Colombia, and he has released his own collections hooks. It has certain different approaches and is Meteor 3 compatible as far as I can tell. So check that out if you are looking for some collection hooks. And then we have a lot of community updates, but Jan, what do we have new coming up?
So I updated in the last week a few packages that are rather common. It's not the big ones, but they're very much in use by many other packages, by many other people, like Mongo collection instances, which is now basically version 1. So took quite a while until version 1 got released. We had lots of release candidates for quite a long time, and then we got no bad reports incoming. And the same goes for Meteor collection extensions, which basically collection instances works on top. But there is also simple schema version 2. So this version is only the Meteor 3 compatibility version. So it's resolving the conflicts with Meteor 3, but there is no full async compatibility. And I opened a discussion for that. So that's the pull request you can see, but there is also a discussion section on how we want to move forward with simple schema. And most people want to go full async, at least with the 10 votes there. But if you're someone who's relying on this package, maybe you use it with validated methods, or you use it with any other server side like collection 2, then please vote for this, because making this package fully async has lots of consequences, and big consequences for other packages like collection 2 or even MDG validated method. So if this is important to you, please consider voting. Leave a comment if you have anything to say about this. There are also already some comments. There's even a comment from Eric, the original author, somewhere below this. And he, for example, said that he would like to use, like to see either a new package as async version or a new major version, and maintaining both. And I'm still undecided on that. I'm waiting for some more responses from other people. So please get active on this. This is concerning many people. Even if you don't think about it, it's concerning you maybe as well. Then there is another release. Many people haven't realized it, but we messed up a little bit. Sorry for that. With Meteor Mocha, there was some mess up in the versions. And due to that, you would have installed an older version, which was flagged in the publishing system as a newer version. That was 3.1 point something, was actually older than 3.0.0. And we released another version, 3.2.0, which is now the latest version. And this is resolving correctly, and it should work very good with Meteor 3. We should also have now support for the latest Puppeteer. That was some issue for some people in the past, including me, that I was stuck on Puppeteer 18 something, and now it should work with the latest Puppeteer. On my list, there are also 2 more packages, like Meteor Desktop, which is more of storyteller's realm.
Yeah, we published, was it 2 patches relatively recently? So that's one, and we are looking to hopefully soon start work on the next major version. So if that's something you're used, that's get on it and let us know how things are. And also, Publish Composite had recently a few patch releases. I'm still having a problem with one issue, so if you're having issues with Publish Composite as well, please let us know regarding the issues so that we can get more data and figure out whatever is ailing us. And but also I would like to say, it's if you have the opportunity to migrate away from a package, that would be much more appreciated. And we are also looking in some together with Meteor software guys into some potential performance issues that seem to be plaguing quite a few applications. So any help on that would be appreciated. And finally, to close off, we have Kelly saying that he is working on fast render and inject data. So that's really looking forward to that getting released. And with that, we ask you for a like. If you haven't already, at this point, you should make sure that the other buttons also are nice, pretty colors, or suggesting that you have subscribed to the channel as well. We are trying to get close, or we are trying to get over 300 subscribers. We are quite close to it. And if you subscribe, you will get notified about upcoming episodes and other happenings on the channel. I have added on all the Discords in the event sections notifications about all these events, or you could say all of our streams. But I would say that the YouTube is probably going to get you more notifications on that regard, especially if you hit the bell button.
Okie dokie. And with that, I think we're going to get right into our feature for the week, which is a little bit of discussion on what's happened over the last year. Like, what have we been doing? I'm looking at the wrong camera again. What the hell's wrong with me? It is senior moment on the show. So I just want to go and give a little bit of context on this again. You guys are with us, the ones that have been here for weeks and weeks, folks like Kelly and Simon, and who else is here with us today this week? Jan from Germany, the other German Jan P, not Jan K, who is with us on the show right now this week. And of course, the folks from the Meteor software company. So we've had a number of different folks that have been here week in, week out. Thank you for joining us and being with us and being part of this adventure that we have found ourselves on. So I just want to run back really quickly to this. The idea for this channel has been around for a long time as an idea. And about a year ago, I was chatting about this again with Jan Storyteller, and mentioning that I thought that having a channel or maybe going to YouTube would be a good way to try to invigorate the community. And it was in my mind. I had the channel. Jan also had access to the channel, and he said, that's great. And then the next week, I saw that we were scheduled to have a show. And so I do a lot of ideas, and Jan is great on action. So Storyteller is the reason why this channel exists, or why this program exists. Because with me, it was an idea, and I was thinking about how to do it. Storyteller said, well, we're going to do it, and we'll figure it out as we do it. And I think that's the genesis of it. We did have some goals at the very beginning of this program, one of which was to be a center point for information and be a clearinghouse for information for the folks in the Meteor community, and also to become a central gravity well, a place where the community could gather and find out things about packages, changes to Meteor, the goings-on in the larger JavaScript community, meaning the packages that you find on NPM and so on, and learn about those things and get information, then be able to go back and be productive with Meteor. Have we gotten there? I think that's up to you to tell us how well we fulfill that mission. And with that, I don't know what your thoughts are. Storyteller, do you have a thought of how well we've done on this?
Well, I think we are still moving towards it, and there will be always a lot more to do. I think we've kind of reached the first milestone of actually doing things, getting our community, and I think it's time to really look into how do we get outside of our bubble. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, and Küster, what are your thoughts? How do you think we've evolved, and how much of our initial goals, do you think we have met?
I personally think that it's quite a hard task to compete on social media in 2023, 2024. We are very, very late on the stage. But what I think, what we achieved is that we've reached a core community of the Meteor community. We have constantly people here that love to view our program, and we love to have on the program as an audience and fill the chat with live. And we have constantly people joining the stream from the Meteor community, showing their work, showing their stuff, having some inputs, having thoughts, having a nice time with us. Also, Meteor software being very close in working with us. And so from my end, I'm at least satisfied that we established something. And I personally, I never thought of doing streaming, which is why I'm really happy that we made 1 year of nearly a weekly commitment. I never thought that is possible, and it's of course it's hard work. I knew that, but I didn't think that we do this. So from that point, I'm satisfied. But as Jan said, there is much more to gather from the overall developer ecosystem, and I personally think this has also something to do with especially developers that are a little bit longer there, that started from the early days, or that are outside the Meteor community, still have some kind of finished idea of what Meteor is or is not, and this might work into why they're not interested in. And this is where we have to think about how we can reach these people. Also, if there is some input from the viewers, from the audience, if you have any ideas what you think might be the cause of people outside the ecosystem remaining outside or having these thoughts on Meteor, then let us know, because this is also good input for us. Or just 2 more years to go before we reach 500.
So, I have to say that we have Simon here. Hi, Simon. Hi, Kelly. It's great to see you guys again. Fred, CEO of Meteor, is here also with us. As I mentioned before, we have Jan from Germany, Jan P. And Gabs, the developer advocate for Meteor, is in the chat. And that's kind of what I see right now. I'm sure there are others there, but thank you guys. Really appreciate you being here and being part of this. We see this as a partner program to the work that Meteor Software does, right? So at the beginning, there really wasn't anything out there, and we felt that there was a vacuum, and we needed to provide some information because it just felt like we weren't really seeing a lot of engagement. And I think we're working really hard on that. The other thing, we were chatting about this in our planning meeting. Now, here's another thing, by the way, that you might not know, which is that although this is a live stream and it looks like it's off the cuff, and sometimes it acts like it's off the cuff, there is quite a bit of planning that goes into how we're going to put these things together every week. We have a script that we typically try to follow. And it's a script in the sense that it's an outline of, here's what we're going to talk about at this point in the program, and here's what we're going to talk about, and here's when the guest comes in, and so on. It may have a little bit of detail, but we don't have any scripted dialogue per se. And it turns out that doing this is not as easy. I was looking back at some of the early episodes, and boy, is it, clear that we're trying to figure out how to gel. And I'm kind of proud of the fact that we've gotten to the point where we can actually get on here and sound like ourselves a little more than when we first started. When we first started, I thought we were trying, and it's hard. And I don't know why my phone is doing this. I'm going to turn it off so that it doesn't interrupt anymore. These are little things that I should have learned along the way, but have not yet quite done so. So, with that, I prepared a couple of slides that I want to share that kind of speak to, our accomplishments. And it may not seem like much, but think about this. This is 3 guys that are doing this on their free time because we really believe in this platform. We really believe that the community around this platform is one of the most vital and important components, and we're trying to do what we can to enhance it, build it, and why am I having that moment again? And celebrate it. So I've said before, I don't think that our program should be the only program out there by community members on Meteor. If you guys feel that we're not doing enough tutorials, whatever it might be, explainers, go out there, start your own channel. Invite us to come on if you feel like you're going to be alone and you don't think anybody's going to join you. We'd be happy to help out and help you grow your content also. And we also want to see that this pushes ideas out where you say, you know what, I have a rebuttal to this. I'm not comfortable getting on camera. I'm not comfortable doing a podcast, but I am, I do want to write an article on it. Go ahead and do so. The more content, the more information that we have related to MeteorJS, the more likely it is that other people would find it and see that there's life in this community, there's life on this platform, and therefore try it, adopt it, and use it. So that is my 2 cents on that. And with that, I'm going to go right into some basic stats on what's happened with Meteor or with This Week in Meteor this year. So far, I just want to point out that we have done 90 pieces of content over this year. Some of them, actually many of them, over an hour long. And what we're talking about is the live streams that we've done. We're talking about the pre-recorded videos that come in and the shorts. And in some cases, what we've done is we've gotten together with other members of the community and done these workshop style discussions, roundtable style discussions. And so if you haven't seen any of those, I think you should go back and take a look at our catalog and find those videos and check them out. So with the 90 pieces of content that we've done, and it's basically the weekly content that we've done here, we've netted 249 new subscribers. What that means, and let me go to the next slide, is we right now have 269 subscribers as of this morning. Hopefully somebody else has subscribed, making it 270. We really want to get to 300. Our goal is to get to 500 members, because once we get there and we get 3,000 watch hours, we get invited into the YouTube Partner Program, and that gives us a lot more flexibility in terms of what we can do to, pay for the resources that we use for this program and get some more input from others. So, of these 269 subscribers, I mentioned before we did 90 pieces of content. 9 of them were shorts. All of those, by the way, created by Küster. So, yay, Küster. And they get lots of views, and they've been getting more and more views. So Küster is really trying to do the short thing, and his stuff is really nicely produced. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. He puts music to his work, which, by the way, if you've looked at a couple of his recent tutorials, you'll notice that he also does some background music. He really sexes us up. So that's really great. We've had 75 live streamed episodes, and 6 of them are pre-recorded items. I think all 6 of those again are Küster, and most of those are his tutorials. So let me run right back here again, and let me pop down here and mention again some of the things that are related to this. So what matters to us? There are a couple of things that move us forward and make us feel good about the work we're doing. Nobody wants to work in a vacuum and put stuff out and not have anybody view it. So views are great, but for me, watch time is even more important because that tells us how engaged people are with the content we have. So in the case of the shorts, we've had 2,100 views of the shorts. Remember, there are 6 shorts. Was it 6 shorts? No, 9 shorts, right? Let me go back and take a look again. Oh, wait, I have them here. No, there were 9 shorts. So 9 shorts, 2,100 views. Shorts usually get a lot of views. We're still trying to figure out how to make that work. So that's there are techniques, if you will, that you have to master to really make them viral. And we're learning as we go. We've never done this stuff before, and we're learning it. And Küster has really made this like, his thing to do. So 2,100 views, which roughly translates into about almost 14 hours of total view time. And that has yielded us an additional 6 subscribers. From the live streams that we do every week, including the deep dives, the hot topics, and the Road to 3.0, which were our specialty live streams, we have gotten 7,566 views and 1,062 hours of watch time. And those episodes have yielded an additional 160 subscribers. On the pre-recorded videos that Küster has done for us, the tutorials, etc., we've had 869 views. I really think that there should be more. If you guys have not been watching these or taking advantage of them to learn more about Meteor and how to really kind of excel with it and be successful with it, I think you should go to them and watch them. We have a new one coming up, which is a video that he did. He did a live demonstration last week. No, it was a pre-recorded demonstration. I don't remember exactly which, but he did a demonstration on debugging with Meteor last week. And we have a standalone video on that that's getting published tomorrow. So go and check that out. It'll help you if you ever have any problems with figuring out how to debug your Meteor applications. You might be able to learn something that you don't know already. So from those pre-recorded 869 views, and those are 6 pre-recorded videos, we have 44.3 hours of watch time, and we have yielded an additional 12 subs from that. And then just in general, from people coming to the channel, we've gotten an additional 71 subscribers. So thank you all for subscribing. Please keep it going. We would love to see this channel grow and grow and grow and get more people in. That's what we're working towards. And with that, I want to pass on some questions, and let me see if I can drop them in the chat here. And okay, so, and I'm going to tell you what those are in 1 second. So let me just drop them in here so we could get some interaction from the folks here. And you know what? I just noticed that I put them in without any kind of spacing, and it's a little messy. So let me tell you what these questions are, and we're asking them of each other also. What are some of your favorite episodes and why? What were some of your favorite guest segments? Why did you find those to be interesting? And what were some of the things that you learned from the program that you didn't know or expect to hear about when we ran that program? So those are the 3 questions, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to my co-host right now and ask, what were some of your favorite episodes and why? Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
So my favorite episodes, I think deep dives in general, I really like them because it's just we have this one topic and we can really go for hours on top of it. Kind of related to that were the Meteor 3 episodes, like deep dives that we did with packages and everything. I think in general, before when we were kind of starting, like, the road to 3.0, saying, okay, it's going to be a lot of content. We have to, do so many things, and then just discovering that it really is not that many things to cover there. It's, async, express,
Yep.
and probably the biggest issue of them all, and biggest blocker for everybody, are the packages and how to resolve the packages issue. So from that respect, that was a very good, nice surprise for me how that actually went. Some of my favorite guest segments, that stuff. I like all of our guests. It's really hard to choose anyone in particular. Then we had Jam very much recently, which was interesting to kind of see him as a rising star, and why his packages and his approach to all those things. Laurie from Weekend Team was also great, because he has just so many things, and with him it's like how do we kind of manage this, because he can go on hours on so many topics. So that's also interesting. And I think I covered already what I've learned, and there's always, with guests especially, there's they bring something new, interesting, and deep dives, especially the ones where just I start with, okay, this is the general direction, let's go and see what happens. So that's that. And oftentimes it's and I would say, kind of with this entire journey, what we had through this year, it's oftentimes like not something that I realized just right there in the episodes, but it's doing that stuff, and then a few weeks later it just clicks with something else that is happening. So that's that. And yeah, that I'll leave it at that.
So Küster, I know that there are episodes that you find interesting. I'm just kind of also curious if because you do quite a bit of extra work on some of the content here, right? And I wonder if any of those particular pieces. So I'm going to change it a little bit for you. You can answer the same question as before, but I'm also curious as to your thoughts on the content that you've created separately, the tutorials, the shorts that you found to be, favorites for yourself.
Oh, actually, I wanted to say what I really liked about our live episodes, but yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you can start there.
Because so I don't know if I can say I have a favorite episode itself, but I really loved all the episodes where we did some extra fancy stuff and had fun, like with the Safari episode or the authentication episode, or the things where we just went outside of the usual having a standard program and stuff, but also did some funny stuff on top, or just went out in the wild and looked for some Meteor applications to run, or trying to. I also liked it when I did some live coding and failed. It's just because it's just a different experience. It felt just different and gave me more input to be better next time. And for the recorded content, I'm still figuring out how to produce that. So this is all to me. It's still very experimental, by the way. There's one short I really like, for example, that I'm proud of making it working correctly. So that it has some sense of this short, what's the name? These kind of making people attracted, or not, these hooking people up with the short, and these are the stop writing crude models and the TypeScriptify Meteor package. They had this right thing, and you can see that in the retention graph as well. I am really proud of them. Hopefully this will get even better.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate all that extra work that you do, and I know that you do it because you don't show up every week because you have obligations, and you feel the need to put these in. But I think the rather than us as your colleagues benefiting from it because you are not here to do your parts and you make these other things, I think overall the community benefits significantly from those pieces of well thought out work. I will tell you that among my favorites, whenever we have guests, it's really great, and I think having the folks from Meteor Software join us is pretty awesome. So the episodes where we've had Fred, I think are really cool, because not so much because Fred is here with us. I worked with Fred before. I like Fred, and I think he's really great, and he's got a really great demeanor, and he communicates well. But I think it's a way of showing the community that the leadership at Meteor cares about the community, and when he comes on as a representative, as the CEO of the company, and does the program with us, I think that message comes across really clearly. So, he's got a lot of things going on his plate. He's got a business to run. He's got software to, help organize and build. And he's got a staff it's a virtual company that he's going to manage. It's a lot of work. And Fred is also, a recent father. He's been a father for about a little over a year now. So, he's got a lot on his plate. Küster, I think you know what it is to be a dad and have very young ones there. For me, it's like many, many years removed, but when it's really early, they really demand a lot of attention, and you need to, help your partner. So when he shows up here, I know that he's really taking significant time to be here and to spend time to communicate to the community. And I think that is, that's really, really wonderful. So that's Fred, but I'm not just speaking about Fred alone. I think when we've had Gabriel Guba, when I love that guy. He was just like so much energy whenever he came on the program, gave a lot of himself, and was willing to he was willing to go places where a more corporate person might not give an opinion, or give an idea, or maybe say, well, we're not doing this right now because we just don't have the time, or really be honest about where things stand. And I'm really happy with the folks from the team, the Nielsen. We've had Gabs, of course. We've had who else have we had? Everybody that's come on so far has been really terrific. So from Meteor Software, that's pretty awesome. I got to tell you, I love Laurie, and I want Laurie back on the program. We had him on the WEC, and I think did we have him on more than one?
Yeah, I think we had him a few more times than that.
Yeah. So I have seen, he is wonderful. The thing with Laurie is when he gets excited, he speaks so fast, and the Finnish part of his accent just like rolls right into his English, and it's like, hold on a second, you're rolling me over with your English. And I'm partly deaf, so I have to really kind of struggle to kind of keep up with what he's saying. But I find him to be fascinating because Wecken is one of those projects that has so many things going on, and then you find out that it's one guy, and he's got a little help from some additional open source resources, but it's really him that's responsible for all the different variations that are out there, the different deployment types that are out there for Wecken. And he's constantly experimenting. And so it's really terrific. And, I know he's a little frustrated from time to time because he hits walls and he doesn't have other people to turn to. And so he's looking to the community to help him out. So guys, Wecken is one of the most important platforms that are built on top of Meteor. And if you value seeing projects like this succeed, when you see Laurie reaching out and asking for help, please just, if you can, pop in and give him some time and help him out. But we'd like to have him back again. And Jam, as you said, like John being over here was great. Who else have we had? We've had Kelly on, and we love Kelly. Kelly is often too busy, especially in the summertime, to join us, but we'd like to see him here more. And other people in the community, who else have we had? We've had Dr. Dimitru, right? You know, he's been one. He's been silent for a bit. I'd like to see him come back. We've
Yeah, he has been doing quite a few updates recently, from what I've seen.
We have Max, who reached out to a couple of times, but you know, he's been a little busy, and hopefully we'll get him. And I've just recently started reaching out, and you know, I have an email that I've been composing to go to
Abigail.
What?
To Abigail? Or
to Abby, yeah. So to
Yeah.
Abigail Watson, we want to do, and so if she's watching this, we are interested in chatting with you and bringing you here to talk about Clinical Meteor, which is, if anybody's ever taken a look at that GitHub repo, it is enormous. It is a world, an ecosystem onto itself. And Gary and Abigail's been working on this for, I would say, over 10 years. And it is interesting. So she is one of the most prolific, productive engineers that are out there that is working with Meteor. And we'd love to have her on the program to talk about her experience working with Meteor, her ideas about where Meteor should go, and how it can help her, and how it's being used in the medical community. So again, I don't know. Do you guys want to just roll right into like going forward? I think one of the things I want to say about going forward is I would like to see us bring more guests on, and I don't know how people feel about that, but I always think that having people from outside from the community come in to share their projects, share their work, share their experiences is far more valuable than watching three dudes every week like make fools of themselves. But I mean, you know, that's just my point of view. So Küster, you want to take that up? What's next?
Yes, I personally like the interaction when we have guests, because it gives a fresh input from a different point of view, but also a different kind of interaction. And usually it's out of our scope what they have to say. We have our research, we have our topics, we have our code, and then you have another person coming in with something totally different sometimes. And this is what's giving the dynamics. I would like to add, we also had Nacho Codonner in the show. We had Felipe Nivola in the show,
yes,
and we also had Adrian Lanning in the show.
That's right. How could I have forgotten?
So we already had quite a few guests, and I really would like to continue on that. And also topic-wise, get some people on the show that are some kind of having running Meteor apps out there, having businesses built with Meteor, having running businesses, and then talk about these, like what's actually the difference between maintaining some open source packages versus running a business on top of Meteor as a platform, and your experiences and what you felt easy, what you felt hard, maybe even compared to other frameworks and libraries. I mean, this is what always people like to see, you know, especially people who evaluate things, evaluate technologies. Like, okay, when I go with Meteor for my next business move, what will be the pros and the cons? And if you get some kind of this analysis, this makes it far more realistic for you to choose the tech, you know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for me, you know, kind of looking forward as well. I know we've discussed this internally as well. I would like to see if we can maybe raise the production standards a little bit. So we have a few ideas on that. And I'm right now looking at other bigger podcasts to see what we can steal for ideas. So recently I started looking at the changelog podcasts and how they have things laid out and how they do things. So I think one of the big things is going to kind of go a bit beyond the podcast itself. Alim, you already started with a newsletter.
Yeah.
And I think it's slowly, all the pieces are slowly fitting in that I can start building a, you could say, community website where this podcast and stuff around it is going to have a big section to it. So there's still, I would say, I'm kind of moving more personally in this direction, but that's something that's takes over a long term as pieces slowly falling together.
It's kind of funny. As we're talking, I realized that I do something that is not a great thing, which is, as you guys are speaking, I am taking some of the things that you're saying, and then it gives me ideas, and then I'm running with those ideas in my head, but then I don't hear the rest of what you've said. So it is a terrible thing. I'm going to admit that my personal failing here in front of you. So if I repeat something that has been brought up before, because I know that we've had conversations offline about this very issue, then just understand it, go with it, whatever. But
one more thing, Alan, that I
please.
would like to add here and kind
go
of
ahead.
call out to the audience. As I started, or as happened this week, I was at Meteor, and I'll mention the other interview podcasts later on. Is I want to really go a bit, or go a lot outside of our bubble, and hopefully appear on other shows. So if you have, and this goes for everybody in the audience, if you have some contacts with some other, tech-related staff or entrepreneurship-related staff where we could potentially come in and, contribute with our expertise, please let me know. I would love to do that. I'm actually waiting. Today is the day where they're going to tell me if I will be talking at Open Source Summit in Japan. I don't give it too much of a chance, but if that happens, then that would be I would say quite a big jump, especially because the talk is based around Meteor as well. So we need to do more things like that.
Yeah, we definitely need to get out there, and we've talked about this, right? So for a while, I was publishing the list of conferences as well as the RFPs, requests for proposals that these conferences have for people to go out there and participate. And the hope has been that folks in the community, if you didn't want to, join in the program here, or, even if you did, but if you had something to contribute, you've got a project that you did, you have a company that you run on Meteor, et cetera, then you would, I apologize. I had a phone call coming in just now that I probably should take, but I'm not going to. That you would take that on and go with it and try to apply to one of those. We have not seen a take up on that. My own view is that perhaps what we need to do is maybe we'll just have to look internally and try it ourselves. And so Jan, I know that for a couple of years now you've been one of the Linux conferences you've been applying to. I think it's one in Japan that usually happens in Japan. So hopefully we'll get some uptake. Now, I'll tell you what will make it more likely that Jan gets selected is if there are more proposals going in related to Meteor. Because if it's fringe, then then these organizers are going to be like, well, we're not going to get much of an audience for this, so we're probably not going to select it. But if there are a number of people that are saying, hey, we have things to talk about Meteor, then it's more likely that an organizer might say, it looks like something's going on here. Maybe we should have a section, a session on Meteor, and we get it going that way. So the idea is, you flood the events with a number of different proposals, and it's likely that they're going to pick one. And the more we can get out there into the larger JavaScript community and have them realize that Meteor is not dead, it's still around, it's still alive, and now we're at 3.0 and great things are going to be happening going forward, I think that can only be a good thing for us.
Mhm.
In terms of things that are changing, you have seen me not post anything recently on those conferences. I would like to continue doing it. I just don't know if it's of any value, and I don't want to spend time doing it if nobody's getting any value out of it. So I haven't posted anything recently on that. There are things I think that Küster and I have talked about, you know, working on a sort of a long-term project, maybe a web app for the channel where we would build it on Meteor, host it on Galaxy, and just do a continual, you know, effort on it, where maybe, you know, and then do some live coding events based on that so people could see the kinds of issues that we might run into, how we try to resolve it, if we're able to resolve it, where we might have to actually open an issue because it's just not resolvable within the structure of JavaScript or Meteor itself. And what is RN, Kelly? What is RN?
React Native.
Oh,
Yeah.
React Native.
Well, with push notification.
Push notification. Wait,
Yeah.
what is he saying is, wait, hang on a second. There was another comment that is like, that's called ADD. Oh, is he talking about like when I was saying that I'm listening to
Yes.
you and then I'm going off? Really? Okay, thank you. I'm getting diagnosed on this channel as we're going through. It's good. I don't need healthcare anymore. I just need people in the audience that can figure out what the hell's wrong with me. And we all know
Of course,
there's plenty
didn't you
there.
know that social media users are the best psychologists?
They're good for a lot of things. Psychology, I don't know. He's saying it's a blessing and a curse. I guess the ADD. So, or is that, wait, is it ADD or is it React Native that's a blessing and a curse? I'm not sure.
React
Maybe
Native
both.
is for sure both. Yeah.
Maybe it's for both. So I think this is one of the things that we're going to try going forward is we may try to do the news as a separate item from this week in Meteor this week in MeteorJS. And so this is a thought that we have is, so do you guys feel that you appreciate the news segment that we do at the beginning, giving you a context of what is happening in the world, in and outside? If you don't value that, let us know. If you think that it's better as a small self-contained item that should be done separately or maybe just be eliminated altogether, let us know that also. In the meantime, we're going to try that out. We're going to try to do a prepared, recorded news segment and release it separately and then just go straight into these more feature-based items. So we'll try that for a couple of them. We'll see how it rolls out. We'll see not just how you react to it, but how the rest of YouTube reacts to it, because YouTube and all developers that are on YouTube that might have an interest in Meteor but don't know it is also our target audience. And in that case, I believe we are going to, and I think, Jan, you mentioned, right, Storyteller, that the intention is to try to go beyond just our core Meteor audience to reach out, because we're trying to create a funnel, right? We're trying to create interest from people that use JavaScript or build web apps to try and use Meteor. And if we're only talking to the same people again and again and again that already use Meteor, we're not really growing that ecosystem. We're not growing that community. So we'd like to see that get bigger and bigger. We would love to see it flourish. I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember in New York when we would put a posting up for a meetup and over 150 people would show up. And most of those people had never used Meteor before. They were coming because they were excited. They heard about Meteor. They heard about what it could do, how it could help them in their productivity. And, you know, I don't know that we're ever going to get those days again, but that is what we're trying to do, is we're trying to like create that virtual meetup in the sense of people coming to the program and discovering things about Meteor. I think we are going to, Jana, you and I are probably going to be working on Rediscover Meteor. We need to schedule that. and figure out. So the first thing I think we're going to probably be working on is an outline, kind of go back over Discover Meteor, figure out what we can reuse, and then maybe come up with one or two new examples that would really make it something that speaks to the experience that you'll get with 3.0, and try to take advantage of those things. So I don't want to make a declaration for the year from my point of view. I'm going to say, like, maybe for the next quarter, we'll try to go down and try some of these things and see how it works out. I think we want to, and I know, Küster, you and I have talked about getting more tutorials in, right? And so trying to figure out exactly what those are going to look like. I think the idea is, and you guys have to understand, we do put a lot of our own work into this. We get nothing back really from it. We are getting some sponsorship from Meteor Software. Thank you so much. We've had offers for sponsorship by a few other people. We've never really closed that loop. So one of the things we're going to be doing is working on a clear sponsorship format, like how you can sponsor, what you can sponsor, and so on, and then having a sponsorship contract. We don't actually have that with Meteor Software. We have a handshake agreement, and I know that Fred would probably like something a little more, certain. And we would like to also be able to say, well, here are the boundaries of what we're doing, and this is what you can expect from us, and this is what we expect in the past. Now, it might sound to some of you like we're cashing in or cashing out, however you want to look at it. Honestly, what we get from this is very little in terms of remuneration for the amount of work and effort that we put in. So what we're trying to do is trying to make it so that we are not hurting our families and ourselves, and are able to continue to bring some high value content to you. So if you guys have any responses to that, any comments on that in the chat, we'd love to hear from you. And Jans, I have said a lot on your behalf also with regard to this. So if you have a thought that differs from this, I would love to hear it.
No, I think you've covered it all, and it's with a lot of the stuff here, it's just a matter of timing and having the time and resources to do it.
Yeah. So Kelly is saying, please cash in. Money greases the wheels of production. Kelly, that's one of the reasons that we're trying to get the watch time. We need to get 3,000 hours in a year. We think we should be able to get there. If people are not watching the episodes entirely, that has an impact on it. And then, of course, if they're not, we really need to get some feedback as to what we need to do better in order to have that improved engagement. So I'd like to figure that out, so that way we can offer higher value quality content to people that would allow them to watch through. And then, of course, once we get into the partner program, it opens up a lot of other opportunities for us in being able to monetize, so that we could pay for things for the channel. Like get, one of the things we've talked about getting is the professional StreamYard account, which would allow us to broadcast in HD, which would also make things that we are posting, when you do the tutorials, for instance, it makes it far more clearer and more visible when we are able to do that. So, it's little things like that we'd like to be able to do. There's some additional resources that would allow us to get our transcriptions and then summarize the content of the episode, that will allow us to put better descriptions in YouTube, so that we are more effective in our SEO. There are AI tools that can help us do this, because it's a lot of work to try to do it manually, many hours. So if we can do things that will actually shorten that time, that can be very helpful to us. So we are looking for resources like this to help further professionalize the channel as we go through. And
I would also add to that if you as viewers, as audience, experience some moments where you think like, okay, this is where I'm now leaving, this is where I'm stopping, this is too much for me, I don't know, they're talking too much, or it's just long. I don't know, I'm not interested. Let us know, because then we know, okay, if there are too many people, if everybody thinks it's too long, then we will shorten up the content, because it's, for us, it's also wasted time. We don't need to produce something that's way too long if nobody wants to watch it, and it's also of course waste of our time. And so if people want shorter content, like, I don't know, if a half an hour is sufficient and people are likely to watch half an hour through, then of course, then we produce half an hour content instead of an hour content. And of course, you could also do what Kelly just wrote. You could just open it and hit on repeat all the day. But we want to, of course, grow organically, and also get, when new people arrive, we don't want to bore anyone out, right?
We're learning, right? So the thing is, like, we were not born doing this. We are learning how to tell stories. We are learning how to shape information and give it to you in a way that you want to consume it. But we don't know without appropriate feedback. And the fact is that the volume of viewers right now is really small. So to be able to get an accurate signal is really hard. So we do need some direct feedback from you guys. Put it in the comments, leave us a note, let us know, what it is that you think we can do. Help us out. We want to do this for you. Help us be better, right? So with that, I want to move on to the next segment. If you guys are good, are we pretty much done with this? We can move on.
Yes, I actually have, you could say, a breaking news here, or at least it came to my inbox just as in the middle of the show, and kind of related to the news on Galaxy. And the big thing is that there is a phase out of the dashboard in favor of Galaxy 2.0. So cloud.meteor.com and dashboard.meteor.com will now go to the Galaxy beta. For new users, they will start there. For old users like me, we can switch to it as things are happening. So that's one of the, could say, breaking news that just happened. And
Beautiful.
Speaking of Galaxy, go ahead, Alim.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think, we're going to talk about your podcast in a minute. And this podcast is going to be brought to you by Meteor, by Galaxy. And we have our, little demonstration here. Galaxy is the native hosting environment that was custom built to host MeteorJS applications. If you want to get $60 discount code, just go to this, the link below. You want to play that back again, and go to the link that's streaming in front of you, and it will take you to the landing page where you could type in the dispatches -60 in the coupon code area that you see highlighted right now. And if you haven't already gotten this, this will give you the discount and give you $60 worth of hosting credits on Galaxy. So give it a try. I think you'll like it. And let's just keep this streaming here, and as this is sponsored. And so Jan, tell us about what went on with you recently with
Vasco. So the second thing that I had done was, you could say, a podcast on Vasco's podcast called Product Odyssey, where they talk a lot of product building and other stuff, AI. It's a very interesting podcast. I recommend to join in. So I've joined them on with Marcin and Maciej, as you can see in the background here. So I was invited to talk about open source stuff, and we kind of split it because we had so many things to talk, and we could probably go for an entire day just talking about open source related stuff. So we've talked in this first part how to approach building open source products, and there is going to be a second part coming in as well. So I'll check them out next week, and that's on the official Vasco at Vasco EU. channel where you can check it out. So highly recommend that, especially if you are more into the business related stuff and higher level thinking, not just code. So, which I hope everybody here is.
And so we will have that link also in the show description at some point. I'm hoping.
Yep. Yes, and I will post it in the chat as well. So that's it from me.
All right. And with that, I think, we're at the end of our program this week. Thank you guys for joining us again. I want to just mention that we have a number of different initiatives coming up soon. We are going to be talking, I guess we have to reach out to those guys again, but we're going to be talking to the folks over at, is it Hello? What is the agency called? The French agency. We're going to be talking with guys that worked on the Olympic systems that were built with MeteorJS. So, what is it called again? Is it Allo something or the other?
Allo Houston, yes.
Allo Houston. So that's the name of the company. We had reached out to them before. They had the they had the Olympics to deal with during the time frame that we were we were reaching out to them. So I think at this point the Olympics is over, and hopefully they will have some time for us. So in the next couple of weeks we should be chatting with them. We're going to be talking about another initiative that is underway right now that is spearheaded by Storyteller, which is an initiative around working groups, and that is related to the open source project and another project, by the way, that we're going to be discussing in October. So let's just say he's laying the foundation for that topic that we're going to talk about in October. Some of you know what I'm talking about right now. Keep it to yourselves. Don't say anything. All right? This is going to be big. All right. And with that, folks, I want to wish you all a great weekend. Thanks again for joining us. Happy anniversary, guys. Thanks for doing this for the last year, and looking forward to working with you again in the coming year. Take care.
Bye. Nice weekend, everybody.
See you next week.
Okay. Where the hell is that button?